It all started with a mouse, but tonight it'll start with a mermaid and mer people, I guess you can say. Anyway, let's start the show. And listen, I know, Black Lightning, they have a lot of people, a lot of celebrities that comment on that show, yada, yada, yada. It does numbers, whatever. My picks do numbers too, but salute to them. They're on the network, right? But this show also gets celebrities, also gets fans. I told you I'm a close friend with Will Smith, a lot of other people. But tonight, I called in a favor. And who do we have with us? None other than star of this film, Ariel herself. Ariel, how are you doing? Thank you for joining us.
I'm okay.
Now, she's Hollywood, but hopefully she'll be more welcoming to us as we continue the show. She's live on air. We're going to bring in Vic, who is, we call him Duracell because he has so much energy. He does so much. And he will be richer than all of us. But right now, we could rag on him a little bit. How you doing?
How y'all doing, man? It's good to see you guys.
Yes.
To talk about down where it's better, down where it's better, down where it's wetter, under the sea. Let's do this.
As Vic says that, I'm reminded of one of his names on an episode a few episodes back where he called himself Baja Panties. And I'm curious how far he's going to take. And last but not least, he has his own segment on this show, but it is his show, The Executive Consultant. How are you doing?
I'm doing quite excellent today. I feel excellent. We're reviewing one of my favorite first movies, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Same thing that happened actually with my daughter, my oldest daughter. This was one of her favorite first movies before she forgot all about it and discovered Frozen. But interested to talk about this one because now I'm watching it through a mature pair of eyes.
He's giving you the Galron eyes right now as he leans back in his chair.
Inside joke.
We don't forgive. Oh, forget. All right. Let me read the synopsis to this 1989. This brought. Oh, forget. That's a whole Star Trek thing. Chris and I will crack about that later. But tonight, 1989, Disney's. Is that a thingamajig that you have authentic, Ariel?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. Don't worry. You'll get used to it. But this is 1999. This is the beginning of the golden era of Disney, coming off what they call the dark period of the 80s and the late 70s after Walt Disney died in 67. I think he passed away. And then it was a dark period thereafter. They didn't really have a direction in their slate of films, and the company kind of slid down. And this is the start of what Disney has become now, which is really a transformative company. And for those New Yorkers, it really transformed downtown. So salute to them. 1999, Walt Disney's The Little Mermaid. Here's a synopsis, okay? Adamant that she's meant for more than a life under the waves, a young mermaid makes a bargain with the sea witch in exchange for the opportunity to live her dream. That's a generalized synopsis of this movie. A lot going on. But who would like to take it first? We have the star herself. If she wants to go first, I cede my time to her.
I go second.
Okay. She's Hollywood. She knows what she wants. Who would like to go first, if anybody? Or I can go.
Okay. So, this was, I'm very happy that I was around at the time that this movie came out. I remember the hype. I remember how big it was, and mainly because of the music. Now, there's one thing that I've always been pondering. I always pondered, like, how well would this movie do if Sebastian was not Jamaican? Because I think that him being Jamaican and the Jamaican accent and anything, it really added to the music and just added to the character. And in my opinion, I feel like he is basically like the star of the show. You know what I mean? I mean, the story is surrounded around Ariel.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, in my opinion, when it comes to the people that pretty much just stole this movie, I would say it's Sebastian and Ursula. To piggyback on that, like, I think that Ursula is literally one of the best villains in all of Disney movies. I really like the way that they executed her. I like the whole thing with the You know, like she kind of had like a little Shang Tsung feel with all the little souls flying around, like you know what I mean. So like that whole thing was cool. And then like at the end when all of the mer people just came out and all of that. Like, I wonder if Mortal Kombat got it from that. Like, you know what I mean? That probably, you never know. But the movie,
somewhere Chrissy is agreeing with you.
huh?
I said somewhere Chrissy is agreeing with you, much like she did with Little Mermaid, the little vampire, and let the right one in.
So now what else was I gonna say? I'm sorry, I'm very tired. But I enjoy this movie. And like one thing that I did notice watching it back now, it feels a lot shorter. I don't know if it's me, but it feels a lot shorter than what it was in the past. And mind you, I saw the whole movie again, so you know it was clearly the same thing. I mean, I didn't need to watch it. I'd tell you one thing: I did forget about thingamabobs and the forks in the hair. That was cute. You know, and the dog was awesome. And the seagull was awesome.
Dramatic pause. And we're back from commercial.
Are we?
Ariel, would you like to tell us what you thought of this movie?
Vic's internet connection went under the sea.
I like this movie. It's about Ariel. She's supposed to go to the performing, but she didn't go. So the freaking dumb bird to her, this is the comb, and you just comb your hair like this, and then the cigar is to be a dinger hopper, and then she forgot that she's supposed to go to the performing with her sisters and stuff. So she tried to tell her father. Her father got pissed off. Then she went to the place. Sebastian went to the place. She was singing the part of the world of her connection, her stuff. And then the only thing I also like the part like she saved Eric and stuff, but she was telling Sebastian to keep it quiet, don't tell her father. And then the only thing I don't like about it, like freaking Sebastian is a rat. Tell his father that she's fell in love with a human.
So wait a minute. So you're saying Sebastian is a snitch for telling King Triton what happened to Ariel?
Yeah, she didn't do nothing. I know her father's upset that Ariel saved a guy because they thought, oh, human's gonna take her like a hug and all this stuff. But Eric, he don't even know. Eric don't even know that Ariel is a mermaid. He's safe. He didn't know that was a mermaid that he is safe. She the second one that she went back in. And then Sebastian got a big mouth and toe, and then he destroyed the stuff. And then she went to the sea witch to do anything to get her man. So she did, and then the thing she sings. And then they're gonna try to do 3 days to see if she could kiss him, so she could be with him. And then she didn't. And then at the end, she won.
But did you have a particular favorite part of the movie? No, you gave me a synopsis for
my best part is like Ariel like singing and stuff, and she fell in love, but she found out she fell in love with a human. And the worst part is that Sebastian is a snitch and tell her father what happened.
Okay. So there's no love for Sebastian, even though she got caught by the sea witch.
Yeah, she got caught.
Shouldn't have told. Okay.
No. And Sebastian didn't tell Eric. I think everything would be fine if Sebastian didn't have a big mouth.
Well, to be fair, King Triton did get there in time so that he could take the place of Ariel. She would have gotten turned into seaweed.
Yeah, and then he becomes seaweed, and she got pissed off.
But that's her father. He's supposed to lay it on his life for his seed.
Facts.
Yeah.
Well, not everybody.
Yeah,
does.
but you know, Ariel think that she could take care of her own. She don't need her father.
Yeah, that's your girl. You see what she did there.
Yeah. So Sebastian went to the the king didn't tell him what happened because she didn't tell her father what happened.
Mm-hmm. Well, to be fair to Sebastian, I'm not, and listen, I'm not a Sebastian apologist, but he was under the impression that King Triton already knew, and when he realized that the king was talking about something else, he got slipped up and he tried to backtrack, but it was too late. But you say, in the streets or in the sea, there's no snitching whatsoever.
Yeah,
Lips should be sealed. Okay.
No
then
snitch.
there's a good part. Sebastian almost get eaten. I mean,
I
getting
knew you were going to
cooked.
say that.
It was funny too, singing. That was like a nice song.
Mm-hmm.
And
For those who haven't seen the
then
movie, those who have, rather, she's talking about Le Poisson when the chef finds Sebastian in the castle, and he thinks he's a leftover crab to cook. Now, we have coming in here sneakily, because she's been watching a lot of spy films, E-Boogie.
Hold up. Let Vic, because Vic was in the middle of a thought.
I thought Vic
Before there was a storm. Before there was a storm in the Caspian Sea and the ship sunk, he was in the middle of a thought. So go ahead.
Exactly. Because here's the problem. The problem is that it's 90-degree weather. Everybody has their ACs on, so the lights flicker. When the lights flicker, the router goes out, and then it literally has to wait to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if it happens again, then I'm just gonna say my final stuff. So bottom line is, the movie was great. It's still entertaining. I found it short as an adult, but I would definitely still play this for some kids, watch it with them, and it's good. I mean, it's just a thumbs up all around. Like I said before, Ursula, one of the best people to do that. And then lastly, I mean, when we went to Disneyland, they have a little situation. Well, if you go to Sweethearts Night in Disneyland or Disney World, they have this little situation where you sit in the boat and Flounder's there, and they have this whole little kiss the girl thing, and it's incredibly popular, very, very popular. Like I stood online for an hour for this freaky thing just to get a picture. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you love her, you do what she likes. But anyway, yeah. It's very, very popular, even like 20, 30 years later. So thumbs up all around.
Okay. Let us hope that
I'm not sure what ride in Disney World we're talking about. I don't think we have that ride here.
It's not a ride. Like literally what it is that like you have a boat, right? And then you sit inside the boat, and then there's like a cardboard, like there's like a cutout of Flounder coming out of the water, right? And then
what's his name?
wow.
There's like these little things that are just like I'll find the picture and I'll send it.
Flounder. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a Disneyland exclusive, is what I'm saying.
Flanders.
Yeah, exactly, Boogie. Exactly. Vic, can I ask you before E-Boogie goes? Can I ask you, how much Patron did they give you while you waited in line for this ride, supposedly at Disneyland? How many shots of Patron?
Nah, listen, Disney drinks are banging, but they're expensive.
Then I knew it. See, I told you.
That is Disney World and Disneyland. They're expensive both ways.
What I'm telling you, the what? Some of the best I've had. It's worth the money.
I mean, it's worth the price. I just don't want to pay that. Damien's going to wait 20 minutes. E-Boogie. On you.
Just jump in right quick. I really enjoyed this movie. One, because it is a coming-of-age story of a young woman seeing the future for herself that she wants and doing what it takes to go after it. On another hand, it just shows how, like I don't even know, like how easily this future is handed to Prince Eric.
Mm-hmm.
He does absolutely nothing to earn this happy ending, except be born beautiful and rich.
He's played by an American, E-Boogie. What do you want?
Wonderful. That being said, I think that if there's anything I could tweak about this movie, it would be about his character. I would want to develop that a bit more. And I'm going to be frank, I haven't watched part 2, or I think there's a 3. I haven't seen those, and maybe they get it right those times. I know, right? Hi, Ariel.
Hello.
Say hey.
Hey.
But
No, it's a part. It's a part 2 of the Little Mermaid. It's a part 2.
it's a part 2, and I heard that part 2 like really takes it there in the same ways
No,
that
I don't want to
Pocahontas
spoil
2
it.
does.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it because part 2 is because Ariel and Eric have a kid, so she wants to.
Yeah. I do. I did hear.
I think
I did
she
hear
wants
that.
to. Yeah, she wants to be. I don't know if she's a human or not. She wants to be human. She want to be like.
Yep.
She want to be like her mother.
Oh,
But the only
okay.
thing, but the only difference, she look like the hair is black. She
Mhm.
look like
Prince
She looks
Eric,
like
but
the
a
singer.
but the
girl.
fake look Prince Eric.
Yeah.
But her hair is black. She look like Eric, but her hair is like Ariel. But she have black hair.
If she has Ariel's eyes, then she's in there. She can do
She
whatever she
does.
wants in life because both of them are very attractive people. That being said, I'll say this. I really want to see a backstory to Ursula. I think that is a character that was developed enough that it really intrigued me, and I wanted to learn more about her and her whole thing. Now, the lore around it is that her and King Triton are brother and sister, and he kind of like stole the throne or something like that.
Mhm.
But then like the real story of the Little Mermaid that it's based on, which is a Danish fairy tale, is that she dies at the end, and she dies because she believes in love, and she doesn't want to murder the love of her life just because it didn't work out how she wanted it to. Which is the fairy tale ending that we end up seeing in the Disney movie. So I really did love this movie because it gave it, while somehow maintaining the theme of women's agency and kind of choosing your future for yourself, and even if it's in defiance of the status quo or what's expected of you. It also has that fairy tale ending of love at last. True love conquers all and defeats evil, and I love that. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How you do that? Like this?
All right. Well, that was some really good insights from both of you all. So thank you so much for that. It's my turn now, isn't it? Let's do it. Little Mermaid. One of the beginnings of the Disney Renaissance. So I feel like I'm at a disadvantage. I feel like I'm under the water, under the sea. I can't breathe, right? I feel like I have some people singing and then I'm missing one. That's how embarrassed I am. Because I didn't get the preview notes. Shame on you, James, for not giving us the preview notes of what's going on tonight. Right? Because Ariel, whatever you want to call her, and you can call her whatever you want in this movie, apparently. Ariel. The pronunciation don't mean crap. But she is Ariel. Ariel, down here is your home. So I actually prepared something better, right? I prepared something better for this show because now I caught up exactly what we're supposed to be doing. First, a brief plot summary of The Little Mermaid. Deep down at the bottom of the sea live with the mermaid and mermaids. 6 sisters live there, all in princesses, the youngest of whom is quieter and more thoughtful than her older siblings. Each of the mermaids has their own little garden under the sea, but as they start singing, one's disappeared because he's intrigued by the forms and the humans above and what they are trying to do, and she wants to learn more about them. So she befriends a goofball bird that doesn't know exactly what's going on, and then she's attacked by a crab who snitches to her father, who gets really upset and looks downright abusive because he's upset that she's not banging a merman as opposed to a human being. Right? So she decides to go to a creepy place that's honestly creepy, right? Because the guard is attacking her and saying, hey, female dog, go in there. But she says no, and she decides to go in there. She gives her voice, flies up there butt-ass naked, and then she gets her clothes on. But Guy who was rescued doesn't recognize her. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm telling you the whole story because Ariel, she didn't tell you what she likes about it. She just tells you the story, and she's combing her hair with a fork. I don't understand what's going on here. All right, are you trading? Are you trading your voice to me right now? Are you? Is that what you're doing?
No.
Good, because that is what I do.
That's the thing she do. And she like going like this. She can't talk. And then she had to use the body language. She had to do the language. I like that song too.
What's the, do you know the next line after that's that lyric right there? Don't forget the importance of body language. The men up there don't like a lot of chatter. They feel a girl who
oh yes, indeed.
So, all right, now let's get to the real thing. Let's get to the real thing, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, you gotta watch this show live. It is the greatest event ever.
All right, so you know what? Let's go. Let's get down to it. Let's get down to nitty gritty. Okay, I thought this movie was good. Now, however, it's a little bit different. Stop. See, and now I think it's a little bit different because I'm looking at it through a fresh pair of eyes, a father's pair of eyes, right? Father's pair of eyes. This girl is 16 years old, maybe 15. Google is giving me the runaround. I think they got their notes from Siri. But this girl is either 15 or 16 years old. And I don't look. My oldest daughter's mother and I talk about all the time. Well, my daughter can date. I said 42 is a good age. I don't know. But I'm hearing now that he's happy that she's in love with the dude. Right? In love, even though she just met the dude like, I don't know, 4 hours ago. I don't know.
He's sexy.
He's 18 too. I was just about to get there. Thank you so much. I don't know. I don't understand what's going on. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, he's rich. Excuse me, Hulk Hogan.
I mean, because if you're gonna do it, she's a princess and he's a prince.
If you're gonna screw some dude, I'd rather be some rich black. I don't understand what you're saying. He's a prince. He's still 18 years old. Whether he has money or not, he's still 18. That's still statutory rape.
Chris, you tell him because what is that guy who used to own that LA basketball team? He said you had to bring those blacks up.
I forgot his name.
Donald
Sterling. Yeah.
You said Donald Sterling. Right.
Is it the name? That's what
you know. What Donald Sterling, King Triton, coincidence? You know, it's up there. Look, all I'm saying is, as a father, my 16-year-old is not dating no 18-year-old. Actually, that's a double standard, and you know it.
It is, and you know it, and they welcome it. And so I will be calling this back at a later point.
Let me ask you a question, Ariel. Do you think it's okay for your 16-year-old daughter to date 18-year-old man?
How you want an 18-year-old man
on air?
I'm putting her on the spot. She wanted to be on this show. She wanted to be on the show.
18-year-old
do you want?
Okay, but why are you phrasing it like that, though?
I apologize.
That way.
Don't be bullied by e-bully. Do you approve of a 16-year-old girl dating an 18-year-old man?
It depends if the guy treat my daughter right.
Don't take that voice. Tone of voice with me, young lady.
That's
as long as you're living under my own shit, you will follow my rules. And my rules is you're 16. Look, I got older daughters. Why am I okay with my youngest daughter dating this 18-year-old man?
That's you. First of all,
I already have a problem with the father because the father shouldn't let Ariel walk around with them seashells on her breast. I had a problem with that also.
Triton?
What father of the air?
She's a fish. She's a fish. What she gotta hide her titties for? Like
she's 16.
She's a sea creature.
Child pornography is illegal in the Pacific Ocean. That's all I'm saying.
She's a sea creature. They might not even have the same laws. Remember, they have a monarchy, so they probably will marry her off if anything.
What happened to her mother?
Her mother.
She died as all
That's
Disney,
200,
as all Disney
200,
protagonists.
and they were a
do.
victim. They were a victim.
Her
All
mom.
Edward
Disney
was a
protagonists'
victimizer.
moms die.
Check a few closets of King Triton. King Triton looked like he was abusive kind, if you ask me. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my opinion as far as this movie. We're going to go pop it up to PH Elvis or wherever the hell his name. PH
No,
levels.
my name is
PH
pH
levels.
levels. pH
I don't
levels.
know why.
levels.
Why? Yeah, I
Are you
realized.
saying she has a yeast infection?
I was waiting for somebody to get it. I had that name up there for
I
the
didn't know that
longest.
from experience. I'm just
I'm not saying
saying.
anything.
I'm glad E Boogie got it because I did not. But
I'm not saying anything. But the
That's
dog
because women
was able to track
can't.
her
That's because
easy.
women can't
The
talk
dog
to
was
you.
able to track her easy. Now, I just would like to speak.
Women could talk to me. They just have to be over 18. Go ahead, Jay.
Everybody's been talking about this movie, the sequel, and then the one after that, and I've yet to speak. So I would like this time to just talk. And salute to the guest stars tonight. Salute to the guest stars tonight. Listen.
Wait, did you just call me a guest star?
No, I'm talking about the Man in Black. But
the guy behind you, your boyfriend was behind you.
Shut up.
I'm keeping a secret. All right. No, but listen. So I think Chris and Vic, they said earlier in the thing, this is one of the earliest movies I remember actually going to the theater to watch. The first one being The Great Mouse Detective, and that one came out in 1986. I'm telling how old I am. But there's a scene in that where Ratigan, he's talking to the other rats, and he is like a big number, and he's right in the center. And for some reason, in New York in the 80s or whatever like that, we always had to sit right in front of the screen, even though I was like 2 feet tall. So everything was like gigantic. And we already had rats in New York. Why did I have to see one even bigger on the big screen? But anyway, scars, whatever. And then this one, what I remember from Little Mermaid in the theater was when Ursula transformed, when she had King Triton's Triton. And I really thought, other than her crypt, her lair that she stayed, because when you have the seaweed that are like possessed souls, I thought that was very effective, and it would be very dark and creepy. And that was a time when Disney really went there. You see that again, even skating with Beauty and the Beast. And I don't want to spoil that if you haven't seen that one yet. But that one is a lot darker than you see Disney in the mid 90s. In the mid 90s, they'll turn the camera. But in this one, they go full on, if you will, right? And I noticed as I watched this on Disney Plus, salute to you, Disney, and digital editing, because I noticed a lot of these scenes were not the same as when you released them on VHS. Also, I looked at the castle, if you know what I'm saying. Also, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Google exists, because animators traditionally would put in adult jokes, and there are a couple of adult jokes in this movie that I'm sure you all remember. Everybody talked about, but I looked for them in this version of it on Disney Plus, and they didn't put it in there. So the priests look very sleepy as opposed to being very animated, and the castle looked very mundane with its spires, and that's the Google clue. But anyway, I like 2D animation. That was the era that I grew up in. I appreciate 3D animation and CGI and everything like that, but 2D, that's what that's how I grew to love animation and the artistry behind that. And so I really appreciated this one. I like seeing this one because I haven't seen this movie in so long. And when you compare it to even not 2D renderings, but if you even look at Lilo and Stitch, which is the last Disney movie to be done with 2D animation, 2D style animation, it looks so rough drawn as compared to that. And if you notice, the background characters in The Little Mermaid are almost as if it was like a cartoon show as opposed to a live action movie. Whereas nowadays, even the background characters, they wouldn't have the same level of texture detail on like clothing maybe, but the same level of attention would be given to them as would be the ones in the front of the camera, right? The main stars of the thing. So I did notice those little beats. I noticed some also, it's another thing in 2D animation because it takes so long to do and it saves money. They'll reuse certain stills. So if you notice, there's a scene in the Jungle Book, in the Disney Jungle Book, that you see again in Robin Hood in the 1970s one where they're running down the thing. In this one, there's a scene when they're in the carriage, when Eric and Ariel are in the carriage. If you'll notice, when we go to Beauty and the Beast, that's the same village as Belle's village. So I like different things like that and picking it up if you study animation and everything like that. That was really cool. I already mentioned Ursula, the transformation scene. I thought that was effective. I agree with Chris when he said that Ursula, there are very few Disney villains that I thought really, wow, they deserve their place. Off the top of my head, I'm going to name a couple. I'm going to go with Maleficent from the animated movie.
We're actually going to have a special on this one day. Keep that in mind.
Oh, what? Oh, okay, yeah.
Disney villains.
With Angelina Jolie?
No, the animated one in 1955.
Praise God.
Or 19, not 1950. Is it
Stop
1955?
being disrespectful, you boogie.
I'm not. I'm just saying.
But the animated one, I thought the rendering of that was great, and how they portrayed Maleficent. You could argue the witch that started all in Snow White, Ursula, Jafar, and I don't want to just pick one off of the top of my head, but really those are like in another level, in my opinion, because their depiction and the characterization is so good. I would say Scar too, but again, he was so regal that he was almost refined, and he was more like the mastermind. But I'll put him in the special mentions as well. I like Flotsam and Jetsam, and one thing that Chris talked about, he poked a little fun because it is to be poked, and that's no pun intended. But Poor Unfortunate Souls, as Ariel says, I like that number because it's a catchy number and everything like that. This is the age of the new musical, and for the new audience, really, you don't really see musicals anymore. There was a time in Hollywood where there was always a musical coming out, right? And then really the only musicals that were being made outside of theater were the motion animated picture, and Disney really kept that alive. So salute to them for that. But when Ariel's transformed, I always talk about small character beats, right? I like that she couldn't swim to the surface because she wouldn't know how to swim because she's never had legs before, right? And so so Sebastian and Flounder, not Flander, but Flounder, have to help her to the surface, right? And then once there, she can't stand up. One, because she's never used those muscles in her legs before, and two, she doesn't have the balance. She would have been born with a fin, right? And or flip or whatever, however they describe it, and that's how she would have got around. So I like that small character beat. Something else that would have been lazily done, they would have just had her walking or just got to the surface by herself. But I like that they took the time to put that in there, right? E-Boogie said it, and I have to give credit because I do always harp on characters. If you're a main character in a movie and you do something nonsensical that goes far beyond the suspension of disbelief that I give to every film, then I'm going to call it out. In this one, she said it. I like the fact, and that's why Part of Your World is a great number too, because it establishes who Ariel is, her character, more so than her missing the opening number with Sebastian and her sisters. Part of Your World is her basically speaking from her diary and saying her aspirations, her wants, her desires. And we've already seen that, but now she's verbally telling her best friend Flounder, right? And she's saying why she wants to do that. Why she's dissatisfied with what we would consider a royal plush life. So it goes a long way in character development, and it's in one song. So salute to that. Salute to this movie also because it's a testament to a movie's strength that they can eliminate the protagonist's voice literally, and you're still engaged in what's going on, even though she can't speak. The only other movie I can think of that does that effectively that I really like, and I dislike it less when you get humans into it or people that are talking, is WALL-E. I thought WALL-E is so effective because he's not saying anything. We have to really feel and believe his soul. And I think what really helps Ariel in this, as E-Boogie also mentioned, is her eyes. Her eyes are they're almost like anime eyes, right? In that they're so large. They're so larger than life. It's like literally looking into her soul. And so when she gives those doe eyes to Prince Eric, or when she gives them to I think it's Sebastian, and she's saying, this is what I want, and he's like, I understand you're not going to be happy at all. You can believe the believability of that character because it's like you're peering right into that. And the style of animation when they do their eyes, it's also very similar to that. So I did appreciate that. Now, I will say that sequence when Ursula turns big and everything like that, I like that they established that Eric knew how to sail before. So when she calls up the ship, as she says, everything in the sea and the plunder underneath belongs to me and everything like that, that he was able to steer it in with the tempest and everything, and it killed her. But that whole sequence, that was like really, really graphic and scary for a kid's film. A la Maleficent, when she turns into the dragon and Prince Philip has to fight that. It was like you were watching something like medieval in that sense, you know what I mean? And I really did appreciate that they weren't afraid to go there. Okay, this again is coming off of the Black Cauldron in '85 and everything like that, when Disney did go a little bit darker. And the next time you will see that again close to that is when Mufasa dies, but again, that's off screen, right? You don't really see that. The closest you get is when he's flung off the cliff by Scar. So there's a lot that I really like about it. It starts it off. This is not my favorite in the golden era of Disney, right? And if you look at it, especially if you study Disney animated films, you can see how this movie, at least from my opinion, it's a very transitional piece, but I did appreciate it a great deal. And also salute to them because obviously, if you don't know, Ursula is based off of the drag performer Divine, and it's so funny because when we do these picks for the different months, we don't necessarily pick them based on, like, obviously June is Pride Month. I call it my birthday month, but Pride comes in there at some point, after celebrating my life. But but these movies that we've been reviewing, it's so interesting how much is part of that culture, part of that community, right? So salute to them in 1989 that the animators will put that in there, right? As an insight to them and to friendships that they had, because back in that time, not like this time, you didn't have people openly walking about. It was you had people like that, but they paid a great price, right? This is also coming at the, I don't know, the height. Well, you could almost say the height of the AIDS epidemic, whereas the early 80s is the onset and people like, what is this illness and everything like that. I say that respectfully. So the fact that they put that in there and you see this throughout, especially with, I think it's Alan Menken. I forget the lyricist who did a lot of these Disney songs up until I think it was The Lion King, was his last one when he passed away. A lot of these you see that in Howard Ashman, and they were partners, musical partners in that, and you see a lot of that in their different works and everything like that. And I always say salute to you if you represent your community. I don't know what their sexual orientation, how they identify, but salute to them if they were their friends and they put them in there by hook or by crook. So I respect that hustle. And that is what I have to say.
All right. I actually forgot one thing. I was going a little bit longer for my segment because I decided to talk about the entire movie. Thank you, Ariel. But I actually brought a recast it for this movie. And I'm going to put it up here before we go to a commercial break. And, I felt like we needed a recast it for this movie because we had Ariel, right? And Ariel was so young and she got married and Lord knows what she was doing that we probably felt like she needed a more mature person to play the character. Hence, we got Charmaine to play Ariel. So thank you so much for being my first recasted. For my second recasted, I'm going to talk about what it seems to be the general consensus of everybody's favorite character. And that's this young lady right here, Ursula. And I'm looking at her. I'm like, that face looks familiar to me. The body type looks familiar. And I remember, thank you so much, James. Everybody's contributing tonight. See, Superior assisted. See how that sounded. James is contributing. Vic is contributing. E Boogie's contributing. Charmaine's contributing. But James contributed by telling me that this person was modeled after a man. So I said, what man has that facial feature and structure? Bam! Here he is. UPR's
Chris.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh shit, that is hilarious.
I knew you.
You gonna say that he looked like a woman? A BBW?
If you paint him purple, if you paint him purple, right, and put tentacles on him.
You are
hold on. Let me just say. You got your looks. Your pretty face.
Funny language, huh?
All right. Okay. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We're doing a little switcheroo, but find out we're reviewing this coming Thursday and this Tuesday. Stay with us. You're watching Unpopular Review.
Walt Disney Pictures presents the classic story of Beauty and the Beast. He was a lonely beast, cursed by a mysterious spell, and she was the beautiful young girl who could set him and his kingdom free.
This is Hamilton.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Please make sure that you join us this coming Thursday around 9:30 p.m., whatever, as we are going to review to you the movie Beauty and the Beast, the next movie in our franchise saga for the Disney Renaissance. And then next week, right here, back around the same time, is going to be Hamilton, which is going to be Vic's pick for our musical month. Look forward to that. Also, in addition to that, this coming Thursday, we're going to have a special Civil War edition for Unpopular Review Entertainment, as it's going to be Family Feud, which you will see these three, not these three, C the Superior is actually taking Vic's place, but it's going to be E Boogie, C the Superior, as well as James against three members of UPR Wrestling. That's going to be a great time coming up to you this coming Thursday, hopefully at 8:30. It depends on if E Boogie can make it on time or not. We'll talk about that later behind the scenes. So that's all the information we have coming for you for these shows. Let's get to some final thoughts. Ariel, you are the guest and you are the star of the show. We want to be a part of your world. Tell us your final thoughts.
My final thought is it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful movie and stuff. I love it. It's my childhood movie. I really love it so much. I be singing it. Also, I watch it with my daughter. We watch it. Even though she's telling me not to sing it, but I sing it. We sing the song. But I give it thumbs up. I really give it thumbs up because it's very good. It don't have to be okay. The guys will say, "Oh, I don't want to see it because it's a girly movie." It's not a girly cartoon. Usually, most guys have like a daughter or a niece or a goddaughter to watch it. It don't have to be a girl movie. Everybody could watch it, and let's give it a thumbs up.
So many thumbs.
Well, it's only because I'm used to when the thumbs up is up there, that means y'all done. But the thumbs up came up, she just kept on going. I was like, but
we appreciate that, Ariel. Thank you.
All right,
Yes.
Thank you.
Vic already gave his, so E Boogie, we're on you.
Eric, I really wish that I got you guys queued up for the random man silhouette for Eric, because I think anybody could have played him. I think any character could have been that character. They really could have done anything because it wasn't about Eric specifically. It was just really, for me, about Ariel choosing her future for herself and going after what she aspired to, which was to be in love. And she fell in love at first sight with this prince. They did such a excellent job with I almost said Lady Divine, Ursula. They did such an excellent job with that character that it made me want more. You need to stop. They did such
look like her.
You need to stop, Ariel. Don't say that. Don't add to it. Oh my God. No, this is terrible. But I really, to me, this was a movie about Ariel, her best friends, and Ursula. And I think the dynamic they made there worked really well, was developed extremely well, even especially with Sebastian. And Flounders they had some combating views on what Ariel should do as well, as both of her friends. And I just think it was done really well. So I'm going to give it a thumbs up. And although all of the male characters in this movie were basically useless, including and especially the father and Eric, who randomly fell in love and got engaged to some random brunette with no background. But sure, whatever. They were fully useless. They could be represented in any sort of way. The main plot was excellent and excellently executed. Love all the songs and good job on that animation.
I think actually A Boogie was absolutely right, because I wrote that down in my notes. And again, I'm a fair person when I say it. As I just said earlier in the show, if you are a main person in the movie, you're coming with the weak sauce, I got to call it out. And in this movie, it's a rare thing because you don't really generally see it, but all of the male characters were weak. Yeah. She's miming useless if you can't tell what she's saying, and that was my thought when I watched this movie. The man is supposed to be a king, but he's like the most useless king. Just give the throne away because you're doing nothing with it. He's literally playing with flower petals because his daughter's happy. I have no idea where we're going here, Triton. Where are we going? I feel unsafe, right? And clearly he has a magical trident, but he's afraid of fishermen. Where are we at, right? But anyway, that said, let me go to some of these comments as I give my final thoughts. The Beast was the sexiest prince when he turned into a human. LMAO. That's from See the Superior. Clearly,
I can't wait for that movie. Yes,
clearly
I agree.
he likes to be bit, and that's where I'm going to leave that comment at. Whatever C likes, that's what she likes. You know, she likes to get bit. She likes a little growling. She likes a little rough. That's what she says. She says she likes the Beast. So that's all I'm going to say. Also, I would just like to say this. No, I'm just saying. I stamped that. But I would say that this movie proves one point and one point only, that women are never satisfied. Also, I had to say it. You know, I poke fun. Listen, I poke fun. But salute to the two ladies on our show, E Boogie and Ariel, because tonight they said something that I never thought anybody would say live on air, that they support R. Kelly because age is only a number. So I thought am I confused? I thought that's what you said earlier. Was that the argument? Anyway, but what are my final thoughts about this movie? I think I've said it all. I do love to troll my co-hosts and say wild stuff. What does this movie get the start of the golden era of Disney? A thumbs up. Thumbs up. All right. Well, since he's waiting on that, let me just show you what I was talking about earlier. So this is Ursula. No, it's not to be confused with somebody who used to be on the show. That's Chris. But I wanted to show you who the character was based on because I mentioned them earlier. No, that's not. No, I did not do that. It's actually Divine. That's who it is. And as you can see, even with the hair like that, right?
It's the lips and the eyebrows.
Yeah. And this is Prince Eric, as I mentioned earlier, how Disney uses a lot of and animation studios, it's a thing that they would do in 2D animation, that they'll reuse character stills and background shots and everything like that to save time and money. This is Prince Eric, right? And then I looked at that, and obviously, you know how I do my recasted? Prince Naveen, right?
Ew.
So as you can see, the character model is very, very similar.
Ew.
They're disgusted clearly because of the melanin. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know what's going on. But the character model is what I'm talking about. And they look very similar.
I would say Prince Eric has been still a realness, or even Paul Rudd realness.
No, I'm not talking about human beings. I'm just talking about character styles.
I see that,
but again, salute to you ladies for supporting R. Kelly so profoundly in this show. Chris, your turn.
Well, she left. Why'd she leave? Because she's embarrassed because she's approving of people being 18 dating 16-year-olds if they're sexy.
I thought that's what she said. Was I confused by that? I thought that's what she
I thought that's what she said too.
Don't put words in my mouth. I would never ever on this planet or the next or in this dimension or the next or in this life or in the next condone a R. Kelly situation. Y'all are comparing a 16-year-old with an 18-year-old with a 50-year-old and a 19-year-old. Those are two different things. But Aaron,
he's rich and he can sing. He's rich, as you
said.
Those
are not the only things. That's not what I said. They're within an appropriate
all joking aside, can I ask you something? All joking aside, can I ask you something?
Nah, ain't no
Can I ask you something, please? Seriously.
This ain't jokes.
No, it's not. It's no jokes. All joking aside.
Fully.
All right, Chris, go ahead.
That's your song. That's your song. That's your theme song, not me.
All right, so
not me.
This movie made in 1989 got a 7.6 out of 10 on IMDb.com. It costs an astounding, I don't know, $40 million to make. It made $211 million. What the hell is going on? It made $111 million in no time period. But let's go ahead and talk about it. But first, I have a question. Are we sure it's not the same person?
Positive.
All right. Anyway. All right. So
he He could never. He could
When I
never.
saw it, what James put out there, I saw it. I was like, yeah, it looks kind of familiar. You know what I'm saying?
No, he could never.
Well, you know what? I think I'm going to see him in about 20 minutes, so I'll ask him when I see him. I'll go live. Anyway, so let's be real. This movie was so good. Ladies and gentlemen, in case you did not know, and I know some of our hosts did not know, we're actually going to have two specials. One is going to name our top 3 Disney songs. Another one is going to be our top 3 Disney villains.
Yep.
Possibly another one about the top 3 of these. Which ones do we find of all the ones we're doing, the top 3 of these ones that we're doing? Because this time period is very influential to movies. That's very influential to a lot of people growing up in that time period. Yep. Whether you're an 80s baby, some 70s babies, some 90s babies, this period, it holds a special place in their heart. This movie holds a special place in Ariel's heart. Look at what she's wearing right now. She was so dedicated for you all, the people. She brought a fork to comb her hair.
Why you say 80s?
I did
babies.
Say I did say
70s, 90s.
Okay, well, I'm an 80s baby, so yes, I appreciate me too.
The 80s.
Okay. This movie was so important to Vic. He stayed up late tonight to talk about this movie. That's how important it is to Vic. E-Boogie decided that she's going to wear her hair the color of blue to represent water because this movie is important. And Lord knows, I'm not sure why James decided to talk about the pH balance of the woman, but hey.
No, because when you have fish, you have to get the pH balance right in the water in the tank. And if the pH balance is off, the fish will die. And I'm worried about the fish.
That's all you ever worried about, James.
Well, you know who's not worried about the fish?
You worried about no fish.
You worried about the
Toya. Toya.
The
I
people.
don't say Toya to me.
This, as Ron would say, this show's going all over the place. Anyway, long story short, so we can wrap this up. This movie gets a thumbs up from me. I don't even know what noises is happening right now. Love this movie. Still love this music. Locutus aboard. This movie had some disturbing parts, especially Ursula Lost Souls collection. I agree. All right, Vic. All right, we're gonna bump and grind out here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching us here at Unpopular Reviews. Please join us.
I'm sorry, y'all got me dying tonight.
Please, I gotta mute you. Please join us on Thursday, 8:30 p.m. for Family Feud edition, and then again immediately after for Beauty and the Beast, for Ariel, for pH levels, for E-Boogie, for Vic. I'm the exec consultant. We'll see you next time right here on Popular Review. Good night, everybody.
Bye.